welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of August 17th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me today, two individuals just, getting out of summer, getting into fall.
I'm Benjamin Daniel Lawless, and I'm sure the fall is yet to come. There's lots of pride before the fall.
I was going to say, where's all the pride?
And this would be where Devin introduces himself.
Oh, sorry. This is Devin Kraft.
There it is.
Trying to ignore all the work I'm doing right now. Okay. Hey, I'm here. What's up?
Devin's multitasking again. That's okay.
Is multitasking is that really a thing? Because I think it's been conclusively determined it is not.
Yeah. It's your brain switches back and forth. There is no doing two things at once.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you can do it in a way. It's just very inefficient and means you're doing both tasks poorly.
Yeah.
But yeah, your focus is going back and forth. You can't focus on two things at once, really.
Yep.
But you can try.
You can certainly try.
Yeah.
Okay, roll the dice.
I won't. But it was just one of those things where I'm finishing something up, and it's like, well, if I just do this one thing, it'll be done. But there's all this other little thing I need to do too. So I'll just get that little thing done, and then it'll be done. Wait, no, maybe there's another little thing I need to do. So,
and then while that's happening, we're like waiting for you to say your name. Mm-hmm. Professionals is what we are. All right, welcome everyone back to the Science Faction Podcast, where we talk about science and science fiction, but first some real life. So who wants to start talking about stuff? Tunic.
Steve wants happening with your printer.
Let's talk about my 3D printer. It's old and tired.
Oh.
So I've got this Ender 3 Pro that I've modified with a bunch of cool tech to print better, more efficiently, more consistently. And it's done a lot of work, and recently I just can't get it calibrated right. The last successful things I printed were a few months back, and then I tried a thing and it completely failed, and I was like, okay, something's going on. The way that this failed, it's telling me that something's way off, and so I just kind of put it to the side as life was happening all around. Yeah. And then some guy was like, hey, can you make some prints for me? And I was like, sure. That was Ben, by the way.
Yeah, it was me. I was the guy.
You were the guy. So I mean, it's really kind of cool. Your Steam controller backplate to include having a slot for USB to slide in for the USB dongle.
For the dongle.
Yeah. Cool concept and everything. I went to print it, and man, I think I printed 3 different versions, and in between each version was a lot of troubleshooting with the printer.
Oh.
And in the end, it just didn't work like it was supposed to. And I don't know how much of that is the printer versus the file itself, because an FDM printer, which is where you have the spool of filament and it goes down and it does it traces around one line at a time and builds it from the ground up.
Is that what you have?
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty common. It's either an FDM printer or it's a resin printer. And the resin printers can do way more, but working with resin is a lot more dangerous, which is why you don't see it. It's not more common. The liquids that you have to use, and you have to use UV light to cure it when it's done. There's more steps involved, but you get a more detailed, more complete print in the end. But I don't have one of those, and I think that thing that you wanted me to print would do really well with a resin printer. And I know online it says an FDM printer can print this, and it did. It just didn't do it well. And so I don't know how much of that was just my printer. My guess is a lot of it, or how much of it is just the file itself. And because there's no flat planes on it, so it can't lay flat. And printing on an FDM printer, usually there's one side of something that's flat, and that's what sits on the base. And that kind of is the foundation for everything. So anyways, yeah, what's happening with Steven's printer? Age is happening with Steven's printer.
as what is happening with all of us.
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with Steven's printer? What's wrong with Steven's back? What's wrong with Steven? We can just keep going. Which funny, today I'd been ordering some patches for various reasons, but one came today it's a skull with a skeletal hand with a thumbs up, and it says everything hurts. And that's what the patch says. And there's nothing wrong, and there's no false statements with that patch. So yeah, anyways, I was talking with Martine about it actually, because I was getting kind of frustrated because I spent hours trying to fix this thing, because that's what you have to do with the printer, because when you 3D print something, it takes time. So I have this little, this one file, it's a calibration cube. It's 20 centimeters squared. There's an XYZ on it. And it's meant to, you print one of these that takes about 40 minutes with the settings that I have. And then you can check it to see, if it printed correctly. You can measure it. You can do all kinds of stuff to make sure you're okay. And those kept printing wrong. And so, I'd print one, and it would print wrong. Okay, there's 40 minutes. All right, let's look up things. Let's adjust settings. Okay, let's send it again. Wait 40 minutes. Okay, this one is 70% better, but still not what it should be. All right, let's get back in there, So I put some work in, and it's really kind of disappointing that I can't get the prints to where I want. So I was talking to Martine about it, and she was like, well, how much is a new one? And I was like, well, times have changed. They have all the stuff that I bolted onto this thing separately. A lot of 3D printers just come with that stuff now, integrated. Right, Wi-Fi connections and auto leveling and cleaning the nozzle. There's a bunch of these things that it's just what happens. And I know that for a fact because friend of the show, Christina's husband, he just bought a brand new 3D FDM printer, and it's amazing compared to what I've got. It's just wow, it was one unit. It prints faster. It prints more effectively, all this stuff. And it was it's I don't know, $300 or something. And she was like, oh, well, that's not as expensive as I thought. I was like, yeah, I know. But yeah, so we'll see what happens if I end up replacing it or just kind of shelving the idea for a while.
You're saying for half the cost of a Lego set, you can get this cool printer? Sure.
I mean, a third of the cost. Legos. A third of the cost of a good Lego set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. I wish I could print my own Legos.
That's kind of nice. Yeah, that's kind of nice with having an expensive hobby, because then when you want something else, your wife is so primed. Bad. Yeah, to be oh, what is this going to be? $1,000? Oh, a couple $100.
Oh, that's nothing.
We can find that in the couch cushions. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So. To answer your question, Ben, that's what's happening with my 3D printer.
Okay. So, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thanks for fighting the good fight there, man.
I really wanted it to work, and really the ugliness of the print was second to the slot that the USB dongle was supposed to slide in never worked properly. That always just slid out immediately, and I was like, well, that's the whole purpose of this thing. So, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's. I'm gonna keep talking now because now you got me going.
Sure.
Now you got me going, Ben.
Yeah, that's what we start this podcast. Eventually, that might be what happens.
Yeah, Steven gets going. D23 was this weekend.
Yeah, it was.
What is that? I'm glad you asked. That's Disney's big announcement weekend.
Devin, did you ask? Because
Devin's doing work right now. Don't bother Devin.
No, I'm not. What's funny is I forgot what that was. I thought it was a Dungeons and Dragons thing. So when he said Disney, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Disney thing. But whenever I hear it, I think of dice, and so I always think it's something about role playing games.
D23, D&D. Yeah, they sound pretty similar. I get it.
So yeah,
I
also
wait
think
to get
it's
a 23-sided die, though.
I also find it hard to accept that Disney has an event where they announce like products and things. It just seems like a lot.
It's a big company.
It is a lot.
It is a lot.
It is.
I mean, so they announced stuff. They announced Disney stuff. They announced Disney movie stuff. They announced Disney park stuff. They announced Marvel stuff. They announced it's like all of the here's what's in the works. Here's what's coming. And then also here's trailers for things. Here's, shots or video from the set of this movie that we're doing. Like it's all of that stuff all rolled into one weekend of announcements. And where some of this stuff was like could come out at Comic-Con, which like the Doomsday stuff did, but they had an extra special Doomsday trailer, Avengers Doomsday trailer for D23, which was kind of cool because it focused more on Doom, Doctor Doom. But that's not what I'm going to talk about, because there was 2 trailers that came out that are both helming things that might be the end of those things. So here's what I got excited what they put out. A trailer for Ahsoka season 2.
Yeah.
And also the Vision Quest trailer. And as of right now,
I understand why you'd say Vision Quest is maybe the end of that, because the trailer's all like the conclusion of a trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to think real hard about what they meant by that. And they're talking about WandaVision, Agatha all along, or
Yep. And then Vision Quest. Yeah, those 3 all have to do with the Scarlet Witch and Vision and their
family.
Their family. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the reason why I say this might be the end of things is because there's currently, to my knowledge, no more Star Wars TV stuff announced and no more Marvel TV stuff announced. It's these 2 things, and that's it. So in previous years...
Now you're talking about specifically live action Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars stuff. Like there's
on Disney Plus. Yeah, specifically Disney Plus TV shows. Yeah.
That are not cartoons.
That are not cartoons, as far as I know. But that's the thing. Was it Spider-Man? The Spider-Man one. I think they had already announced a season 2 for that. But I don't think anything was shown for that.
That was good.
It was really good. So yeah, right now, Star Wars wise, just Ahsoka. Marvel wise, only Vision Quest. And it seems like those, if these things do well, then perhaps more comes. But for both franchises, they've been hit and miss the whole time. They both, kind of started strong, or they have strong points in them. But also when all this was starting was also COVID time, so they never really had like a really good run. We have no more announcements for Mandalorian, which is the other big Star Wars TV thing. Everything else has been one season and done pretty much. So we'll see what happens here. Since all this stuff started until now, there are now new people in charge over at Disney. So maybe the numbers, the money, maybe the mouse isn't happy with the money side of things, or maybe it's just not as popular as it used to be. Maybe it's run its course. Maybe who knows? So that's where we're at right now. The trailer for... go ahead.
I think I would personally prefer something more like this. Less projects. Maybe space them out a little bit more. But an understanding that hopefully this is ongoing at this pace. Because I don't think that the pace that they were releasing stuff... through COVID was really sustainable. And we're seeing that now,
Yeah, they got real excited, announced a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of it went through. Some of it was canceled, the Blade movie was canceled. There was an Armor Wars.
It was canceled?
Oh, yeah, that's canceled now. With
okay.
Mahershala Ali. I forget how to say his name.
Mahershala Ali.
There it is. You got it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
who's incredible and is in
Yeah.
like every Marvel thing ever made, it seems, except now he's not gonna. So
what other
mean,
Marvel thing was he in?
Oh my gosh, he played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. He played
Oh, I forgot about Luke Cage.
yeah, he also played Miles's uncle in the Into the Spider-Verse films.
Oh, yeah, that's Sony. That doesn't count.
We finally watched Green Book. That was a good show. That was a good movie.
Green Book?
What's that about?
It won Best Picture, I think, in 2018. He was one of the main characters. It takes place in like the 50s, where Viggo Mortensen plays a guy who drives a black character around the South to different piano concert venues, and they encounter racism and the like, and they learn to accept each other, become friends, and a lot of overcome adversity. It's a really good movie.
And it's called Green Book.
Yeah, it's named after that because it's a book that was used at that time. It's a book of hotels that would allow African Americans to stay there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotcha.
Wait, that
Anyway,
sounds...
he's in that movie. That's why I bring it up.
Okay.
Not just randomly. And we did just watch it like a couple weeks ago, and it was really good. So
Okay.
Neat.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I think I saw the trailer for that. Now I'm like, that all sounds very familiar. Cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
it was
I've seen
pretty big
trailers.
when it came out. Yeah,
You said
it won
2018?
Best Picture, so
That's like
something like that. I
8
could have it
years
wrong,
ago? All right. Well, back to the trailers. Ahsoka season 2 trailer looks really good. Thrawn pretty much says, "Hi, Galaxy. I am taking back control of the Empire, and we are declaring war on the Rebel Alliance." Like, there's a whole like speech thing that he does, and he says that, and that's like, ooh, okay. And then there's lots of shots of like Ezra and what's his name, big purple guy, Zeb. Thank you, Zeb Aurelios, Zeb and Hera and Chopper. Like, there's a lot of Rebels stuff happening in this Ahsoka season 2 trailer, and then stuff with Ahsoka and geez, everyone's name is leaving me now. Ahsoka and Sabine, because they got left behind at the other place. Spoilers for the first season of Ahsoka, and
the other galaxy.
The other
right?
galaxy,
Yeah.
exactly. And then the new actor for Balin Skull, who was the Hound in Game of Thrones. I forget the actor's name, because Ray Stevenson passed away, and then his apprentice as well. Like, there's a couple of shots of them, but not really too much. The big things that got me real excited was more flashbacks. Looks like we're getting another Anakin, Ahsoka, Clone Wars style flashback, which looks really cool. Also, Force Ghost Anakin seems to be haunting Ahsoka, telling her stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. It looks like they're just hitting the ground running and just more stuff. So now that season 1's out of the way of like the kinks of, all right, let's catch everyone up. Let's get the story rolling. Let's see how all this stuff translates from animation to live action. And now this season, it really feels like it's going to be like, no, let's do this for real this time, is what it feels like. That's pretty cool. Now, Vision Quest, I'm even more excited for this somehow.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, Vision. Go ahead.
I just want to see more Ultron. Just give me more Ultron.
More James Spader and Ultron, please. Yes.
Yes.
So I watched a video on this, and the concept really is Vision is going into his own mind, into his own programming to see really who he is as a person, as a being, as a thing. And as he does that, finds that it seems like all of the other AIs that Tony created are in his programming somewhere, as like as Tony iterated on these AI designs, he just kind of built more and more and more, and so they're all kind of together. And so you see there's one shot where there is Vision, Paul Bettany version of Vision, just like a dude, And then you see that there's another Jarvis, like an older Jarvis, which is the same actor that was in the Agent Carter series, which was had the other Tony's father, that other actor. Anyways, so there's that. There's like a couple of, it looked like mechanics, and those are supposed to be the AI of like the arms that he used in his like garage, if you remember from like Iron Man 1 and 2, right? It's like it's those guys, but they're represented as people. And then as Ben already said, Ultron. So Ultron is also part of his programming, and you see him in all of his silver glory, and then Vision comes in and says human avatars only, and then he changes into James Spader, which is cool, which is like a nice way to get around like a huge CG budget for the character, you know. You can't just have big mechanical dude just running around like nothing anymore. So yeah, that seems cool. And then also seems like the other bit is about Vision looking for his son, one of his sons, because we got one of them was in Agatha all along, and now in this one it's perhaps his other son that's trying to find him, or vice versa. So there's some cool things going on there. The advertising said, the end of the trilogy. So this is the, culminating in the finishing of the story between WandaVision, Agatha all along, and now Vision Quest. And we'll see if there's any Scarlet Witch stuff in this. None was in the trailer, and we don't know where she is or what she's doing really. Last that we saw her was in Multiverse of Madness, where she's again trying to get her kids back. Didn't happen so good. And then she self-ended with a mountain at the end.
Yeah.
I don't. Movie.
Okay. Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, this is a very Snake Plissken, like, aren't you dead sort of deal.
Yeah. Like she supposedly, through all realities, destroyed the Darkhold, which was the book that allowed the dream walking and stuff.
Can we just stop like banning books like for 5 minutes?
Look, if that book had already been banned, we wouldn't be in this situation.
I don't know. I just heard you say the dream walking as if there's like
like Christopher Walken.
Yeah, the ideal version of Christopher Walken, like the platonic ideal of Christopher Walken, and she destroyed it in all realities.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, her and Doctor Strange were dream walking, meaning they were inhabiting other variants in other universes, and that's one of the things that had started the incursions and bad things happening. That's going to lead to everything else with Doctor Doom. So one of the things people have been saying, or there's a couple of clues. One, we never see a body. Two, it's a comic book movie. They always come back to life. Three, one of the big statues, or there was like a big statue thing that had the Scarlet Witch on it that was in Multiverse of Madness and the mountain scenes, if you know what I'm talking about. That also appeared in Deadpool and Wolverine in the Void, where all the other characters kind of gathered around. It's there. It was on the ceiling, like as a fresco or something. So like that was a little clue of like, oh, maybe she's not as dead as we thought she was. And the latest rumor, perhaps, is that Doctor Doom has a series of witches that are with him, and they're dressed. So I don't know if this was at D23, if this was at Comic-Con. I want to say it was at Comic-Con. Maybe it was at both. But they showed a bunch of costumes, and one of them was these 3 witches, and there was like a green one, a red one, and a purple one. And so everyone's like, who are these? Who are these people? And
okay, so people weren't like, oh, I know exactly who that is. And
no, because it's taking a concept from the comics that was kind of half real in the MCU and half not. Because in the comics, one of the ways that Doom like takes over is he creates a religion around himself, and there's all these like witches, and so he sends them out into the multiverse to do his bidding. And so I think this is like a scaled back version of that. and people are guessing that it's that Wanda's going to be one of them. Clea from the end of Multiverse of Madness is going to be one. That was the post-credit scene. She's played by the names. She was in Fury Road. Charlize Theron. It's her character who appeared for like a second at the end of that movie.
At the end of Multiverse.
Yeah. She showed up in front of Doctor Strange and was like, "We got to go fix stuff." And he was like, "All right." And his third eye opens on his forehead. She cuts like an X into reality, and there's just like nonsense behind it. They jump through, and that's like the end, and that's the last we've seen of him. And there's also like another masked figure that appears to maybe have a third eye hole on its forehead, and they're like, "Oh, maybe that's Doctor Strange." And traditionally in the comics, during this storyline with Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange is on his side, and so perhaps that's what that is.
I'm paying attention. I'm not working, but I have kind of lost the thread a little bit. What are we talking about? The trailer for a movie?
We were talking about the trailer for Vision Quest, and that led to
which is a television show.
A television show on Disney Plus. But that led to the question of, is Scarlet Witch going to be part of that? And then that led to a discussion about Scarlet Witch possibly being in Doomsday.
Okay, because I was thinking, I'm like, I haven't seen a Marvel movie in the theaters in a while, or even really on TV. Like I'm behind a lot on the Marvel movies. I am interested in seeing the new Spider-Man because it looks good and I've heard it's good.
It's very good.
But and something like Doomsday being like the big, what everything builds up to, like the Avengers movies, like those are always like a huge event. And I enjoyed watching Endgame and Infinity War. This just like hearing you talk about Doomsday like this. It makes me like, I'm like, it sounds exhausting to try to watch that movie. And I'm just like, wow.
So tired, Devin.
I'm like, is this the new the new big Avengers movie? This sounds like a lot of work. I don't want to go to that.
No. I'm getting into the weeds about stuff.
Well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're going to go watch Avengers Doomsday, and as long as the last thing that you watched was Avengers Endgame, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, because I'm sure they're going to make it, obviously, for a broad audience because they don't want to limit who sees it. They're expecting to make $1 billion off this thing. So.
Oh, and I think they will, easily.
Yeah. They have off Spider-Man, right? Like, Spider-Man's done great.
Yeah, I think it's closing in on $2 billion at this point.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's done really, really well. And so, the stuff that you see, like just trailer stuff that we've seen for Doomsday, we know that like it's, again, everybody's getting together, and also X-Men are there. Is like all you really need to know. Yeah.
There you go. That's a selling point for me.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be the real final, like, this is the last time these actors as these X-Men are going to appear. This is their swan song. As far as we know.
I mean, yeah, we've heard that before.
Yeah.
A few times.
I mean, this is like their universe is going to be ended in this movie. So like this is a real like, all right, they're done now. And I think they're going to use that in this movie, in Doomsday, to be like, no, really, we're serious. We are offing people for real. And there's two reasons for it. One, they're really old. Like, please let Sir Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen just rest. Leave them alone. I know, but that's more people.
It's so tough in a movie or a universe like this. Like in some movies that are more reality based, if there's a character who has a lot of plot armor, but they want to be sure, like, they're dead, they'll show them like get shot in the head or something. Like, no, this character is not coming back.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of plot armor. But in a world like this, they could do anything. They could say all their universes, all iterations of their universes, all, whatever is destroyed, gone. Like, it's like, no, you could just tomorrow say like, and magic, they're back. Like,
yeah, you could. That's the beauty of comic books, but that's not the beauty of how people age. And it's time for some of these people to get recast, which they did, and they're doing. So I think that's another big like signal of like, this is the end, because like we have a new Cyclops now. Like we have like in the MCU, like going forward, he's been cast. So like James Marsden, this is probably going to be the last time. I say probably because you never know. And if it makes sense for him to come back as Cyclops for some reason, great. I hope that he does. But they're framing this as like this is going to be it for many universes within the MCU. So so Vision Quest. That was the Vision Quest trailer plus more. And we're already at the half-hour mark. We were concerned that we wouldn't have enough to talk about, but you put me on a soapbox, and that's that.
Sounds like everything hurts. Am I right?
Everything hurts. Let's see. Do we want Ben? Was there something that you wanted to talk about specifically?
Yeah. Just like an interesting reminder, everyone, that the video game Tunic is still out there. You could still play it. It's pretty great if you like Legend of Zelda-like games. I've started playing it, I think 4 times now on different platforms, and because I think I found it when I was on Xbox Game Pass, and was like, oh, this is interesting, and then I got it on my PlayStation 5 and like played a little bit there, and now I've got it on Steam, and I'm giving it a shot, and I'm farther than I've ever been. Tunic is an interesting little game. So again, it looks like kind of like a Legend of Zelda-like game, but it's got a really interesting art style where it looks like you're in a diorama. You're playing as a little fox. And what's odd about this game is that as you're collecting things, some of the stuff that you're collecting are the pages to the instruction manual for your game, for the game that you're playing.
I hope that instruction manual is in English.
It is not in English. Most of it is not in English.
Right.
And it's in some language that is not terrestrial here.
Right.
And so a large part of the game is figuring out what you're meant to do based on context clues, based on like the design of the instruction manual, based on what happens when you try doing things. And ordinarily, I would say that's not a game for me, but the approach that they've taken in this game just has been dragging me along through it. And so much so that now where I'm at in the game is almost unrecognizable in terms of a lot of what's been going on from where it started. And so, yeah, it's been an odd sort of thing because whenever I've heard Tunic discussed, it's always been like, oh, here's like, we're not really going to talk about spoilers for later in the game. And it's like, oh yeah, whatever. It's just more of the same. It is not more of the same.
Okay.
It is a really fascinating kind of like you're picking up these details and clues about a pseudo sci-fi anti corporation, it's
whoa.
It's really, it goes places in its like maybe not anti-corporation, but like the quote unquote bad guys are subjugating and using like these giant foxes as like sort of pseudo matrix like stuff going on. It's crazy. It's crazy, you guys. It's not what it appears. And I highly recommend if anybody is like, oh, that sounds really interesting. If you've been sleeping on Tunic and you have any interest in it at all, it's on a lot of different platforms, and it's I'm really enjoying it. And I hope you guys do too.
I played some Tunic when it was on Game Pass, and I remember thinking that it was a gamer's game. Like if you're a gamer and you've been playing games for a long time, there's a lot to get out of it. But if you are more of a casual gamer, a lot of it's either going to be frustrating or kind of go over your head. I kind of felt like.
Right.
But, is what it is, man. That's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying Tunic. It was fun. I liked it. It had some good puzzles and stuff. I played it for a while, and then I don't know why I stopped, but I ended up stopping. So
yeah, I mean, I guess like little bit of spoilers. I was defeated by, I think it was the fourth or fifth boss, and did not come back to life.
Oh.
And the game continues.
Okay, there you go. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's a bit of a challenging game, y'all. But
Okay.
you know, there's some like crazy stuff that happens in terms of movement, like items that you get that enhance movement that are really fascinating.
When you say
you
items,
really don't
like
expect it.
you're talking about in-game items, like a rope or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get like a whip that has multiple uses, both in like traversal and in fighting enemies.
Okay.
And yeah,
Do you also
Anyhow.
get a fedora and a revolver? Because if you do, I'm
You
going
do
to start that game back up.
you do get a shotgun. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That was a surprise. I mean, like, again, this is not what anyone will tell you about the game because you're supposed to like figure it out yourself. But like, you're welcome.
Got it.
I haven't seen a fedora yet, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I'm rooting for
too much.
fedora. All right.
Yeah,
We're at that time. We got to take ourselves a little break. And when we come back, we're doing future or now, and I really hope Devin has something to talk about. So we'll be right back. You ever notice how everyone in sci-fi movies has a secret society they belong to? The Jedi, the Bene Gesserit, the Illuminati, or whatever? Well, guess what? So do we. It's called our Patreon, and if you join at patreon.com/sciencefactionpodcast, you'll get access to exclusive content, our Discord, and knowledge that normal listeners will never understand. Join us, or remain in the dark. Your call. And we're back.
Heyo.
What's up?
Hi.
All right. Thanks, patrons. You guys are great. Renee, I hope you enjoyed your time at the Giants game.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a Giants game in a few days. So,
Tell us about that, Devin.
I hope you enjoy your time there too.
so every year, Jen and I meet up with our friends from the Bay Area, Tony and Marilyn, and we go to a Giants game. But we go to one in another city, so we get to go, somewhere we haven't been, or just somewhere cool. So like we've gone to San Diego, Miami. Milwaukee was last year, so this year we're going to Boston, and we're leaving on Thursday, coming back Sunday. So, and it's just Jen and I. The kids are staying with Jen's mom and sister. So, yeah, it's that annual trip, which is always a lot of fun. So we're doing that this weekend.
Nice.
Awesome.
So do you guys always plan on it being a different, like, have you done the same city twice, or is it always like we got to go to a new place?
We haven't done the same city twice, and I think our intention is to do as many unique cities as we can. So I don't think we'll really ever do the same place twice unless we happen to go to every city or every major league ballpark and end up repeating something. But no, I think our plan is to try to do a new place every time.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
What else is going on?
Well, now
So I had on mind for the first part of the podcast to talk about a couple movies I've seen recently. So since I didn't do it then, I'll do it now. They're two interesting movies, not really sci-fi. I'm going to talk about them in reverse order. So
Okay.
one of the movies, because I was going to talk. So both the movies are The Drama, and the other movie is The Life of Chuck.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you've heard about The Drama. I've heard about it from a few different places. It's got Zendaya, and Robert Pattinson, so two big stars.
Pattinson.
Whatever. Pattinson.
Yeah.
And it has a very interesting plot, so it's been getting a lot of attention. But we also saw The Life of Chuck, which we just watched last night. We were actually looking for a different movie, and it just popped up, and we're like, "What's this?" And we watched the trailer, and like, "Oh, that looks cool." So we watched it. So I actually wanted to talk about that first. Actually, it's because it's a Stephen King movie. It's based on a Stephen King story, and we just watched, and I just talked about The Long Walk, which is also based on a Stephen King story.
Yeah.
And they also both have Mark Hamill in them, which is kind of funny. But they're extremely different movies.
Okay.
Like they have no connection whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. The Life of Chuck has a bunch of big name stars in it. The main character is played by Tom Hiddleston. It's got a lot of people in it. If you watch the movie, like every character, like, oh, I recognize them. Oh, I recognize them. So very big budget. Anyway, it's a good movie. I recommend it. If you watch the trailer or even see the poster, it's got like all these reviews that say a masterpiece, magical, truly profound, and all this stuff. So
Right.
it's like a a very well done emotional movie. They do a really interesting thing where it's almost told backwards. Like the first part of the movie says Act 3, and then in the middle they say Act 2, and at the end it's Act 1, and it makes sense because it's kind of going reverse through someone's life. But the first act is very strange, very unexpected, even after you've seen the trailer. I kind of don't want to give it away.
Is it the first act or the third act?
Well, it's technically it would be the first act of the movie since you see it first, but it's titled the third act.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I'm
following along.
I mean, so I kind of don't want to really give anything away. Oh, the other thing that made us want to watch it is it's written and directed by Mike Flanagan, who I've mentioned before. He did Midnight Mass. He does a lot of things on Netflix. He did The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, Dr. Sleep, it looks like.
Dr. Sleep. Like he's a big Stephen King fan, and he's supposed to be doing the Dark Tower series, but I don't see that on his IMDb anymore. I don't know if that got
who knows with that thing.
Yeah, but he's everything I've seen him that he's done I've always thought was really good. So that was another plus for it. And so yeah, it's just it's a good movie. I recommend it. This
cast list is bonkers.
Yeah.
It's got Chiwetel Ejiofor, Karen Gillan, Mark Hamill, Mia Sara.
And I would say it's family. It's not family friendly necessarily. It deals with some heavy topics, but it's not like violence or explicit. It's just death is kind of a running theme in it, because it's just about people's lives and things, and people die, and it's just like dealing with that. But it's not other than that.
I wonder why
I bet it's rated.
It's rated R.
That sounds right. It's rated R, really?
Yeah, at least according for language, which
it is rated R. Okay, so maybe maybe if I think that
honestly
there was some...
that would be fine. There's some mild violence and gore, profanity, moderate profanity, and mild, frightening, and intense scenes. But if you're like, it's nothing that my son hasn't seen on For All Mankind.
It's definitely because that's funny. Thinking back, I'm surprised it's rated R, but I guess there was language, but.
I like
anyway, it was
the
just something we
storyline.
stumbled upon that was pretty good. So
the little plot synopsis on IMDb simply says a life-affirming, genre-bending story about 3 chapters in the life of an ordinary man named Charles Krantz.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So it's kind of like a hidden gem kind of thing. So I recommend it.
Where did you watch it?
Excellent.
On Disney Plus, I think.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like it's streaming on Hulu. Disney Plus, and you rent it, buy it on Amazon. So there you go. Cool, awesome. But nothing sci-fi.
So back.
All right, fine.
Well, that's the weird thing. When you start the movie, you'd think like, oh wait, is this sci-fi? There's some. I don't want to ruin it, but there's some strange stuff to it at some points.
Of course.
But anyway,
and
it makes sense at the end. It all makes sense at the end. But so the other thing is the drama, and this is have you heard anything about this movie?
I think I've seen it.
Really?
Okay. I have not heard about it.
I'm pretty sure Martina and I were talking, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like that scene in the drama." And I was like, "What is that?" She's like, "It was Zendaya and Pattinson." I was like, "What what are you talking about? She's like, we watched it. I was like, what? And then she described the movie some more. I was like, oh yeah, we have seen that. And I just
Okay.
forgot.
Well, then, because I wanted, except Jen and I have talked about it a lot, and I kind of wanted to talk about it with someone else to see what their take on it was.
Okay.
I mean, the movie itself, I thought was well done. Very interesting directing. Like, you almost don't know if, like, are we seeing someone's fantasy, like, or is this really happening? And what's the chronology? Because there's a lot of like cuts here and there, and a lot of weird kind of stuff like that. But that's not that important. But what the movie's about is this couple's going to get married in like a week, and they happen to be having lunch or dinner with some friends, and their friends are like another couple, and they're like, oh, before we got married, we told each other the worst things we've ever done in our lives. And so they all four of them tell each other what the worst thing they've done in their lives. And hers is
Very bad.
shocking, very bad.
Yeah.
And so that affects her relationship with her fiance and affects her relationship with her friends who were there.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just goes from there to see like how she deals with it, how her fiance deals with it, not well, and where that goes. But so you've seen it, Steven. So, and I don't know if it's kind of disturbing or giving out spoilers.
We can. I know what you're talking about. We can. We can give a spoiler warning or perhaps a content warning because it's real stuff. It's hard stuff, but we can. I think we can talk about it. Just
Okay, so
keep that in mind
Ben,
for the drama.
Are you worried about a spoiler?
Yeah.
I don't mind. Go for it.
Okay. So the thing, well, it's almost important to know because they set it up very well, the moral dilemma, because the other people there say what they've done. So, okay, what her thing is she reveals that when she was a teenager, like 15 years old, she planned a school shooting, like to the extent where she like recorded a video of, this is why I did it. Here's what, and then she even took the gun to school, but she didn't do it at the last minute. So she didn't do it at all. No, never got in trouble for it. No one ever got hurt because of her. And in fact, soon after that became an advocate for anti-gun laws. And so she was, so there's that. That's what she did. The worst thing she's ever done in her life was plan a school shooting, but she didn't carry it out. And then so everyone at the table is like shocked, and her friend who's there, who's supposed to be her maid of honor, is like, my cousin was shot in a school shooting. Like, how could you possibly say that? And she's like, that's just what happened. Like,
Yeah, she was just telling what happened in her life.
I'm telling you what the worst thing I did ever was. I thought that's what was the game, and that happens to be what I did, but I didn't do it. So, so that's interesting. And that's kind of like the whole movie is just an exploration of that. My feeling throughout the movie, and even now, is I don't agree with how people reacted. And maybe I'm wrong, because I felt like the only reasonable reaction, especially if it's someone you love, like her fiance freaks out about it, but it's like, it's more of someone just told you they went through a really traumatic time in their life. Fortunately, no one got hurt, and the person who's telling you this, who you love, seems to have gotten over it. And if they haven't, then maybe you should talk to them and help them. But I can't see any other reaction other than compassion. And so it really frustrated me how everybody in the movie like flipped out about it. But maybe I'm not taking it seriously enough, because I'm like, especially her friend who's supposed to be your maid of honor, just really like, it's hard to say she's the antagonist of the movie, because obviously she does have a reason for her actions, but I'm just like, it's just crazy. So it's interesting. It's a movie. That's what's so great about the movie, is it makes you think. And like the thing that her friend did, like her reveal of the worst thing she's ever done in her life, is when she was a kid, she and another kid went out into like the forest and found like this abandoned house, and she locked this kid in the closet of this abandoned house and ran away. And then when people were like, oh, where's this kid? And she's like too scared to tell people. But they did find the kid like a day later, because they had search parties. And so it's like, wait a minute, you just revealed that you literally caused someone significant harm and trauma. like you actually hurt someone else. And
Yeah.
Zendaya's character, while again, so you always have to say it's a very serious thing she did, she actually didn't hurt anybody else. So it's like, it's a very interesting moral dilemma. But I felt like the appropriate response would have been to not freak out about it. But I guess that's me. So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
So that's what that movie was. So if you're looking for a fun movie to watch on a Saturday night when you don't have anything else to do, just pop that on.
Yeah. Might as well. Cheapers. All right. Good to know. Well, hey, so Steven did have to duck out
Oh, okay.
for a moment because
Yeah.
he's got to talk to his to somebody, the worker that's working in his house. But that means that Devin, you and I, we get to run
Okay.
this without Steven, you know,
Cool.
just for a couple minutes. Anything else you wanted to add about your films?
Well, I'm just curious, what do you think about that? Like, if someone close to you who said that they did that, they planned a school shooting 15 years ago, but didn't do it, what would your reaction be? How would you feel about that?
Wow. That's tough, right? Because it's kind of like I feel like that is a subject that has different levels of unforgivability depending on the portion of my life, right? Like
Hmm.
being a parent now and having a child that's school aged is like that hits a little bit different than it did back when I was a student, you know? Yeah, man.
Well, no, I worry about that. I mean, I have kids
Mhm.
school age, and I have no reason to think it would happen where I am, but that's unfortunately the thing about these things is they seem to happen anywhere without
Right.
warning or explanation. So it's very scary, and I would be
S-
insanely
anywhere
traumatized if that
specifically,
happened.
anywhere specifically in the United States of
The
America.
United States, and they mentioned that too. Well, so that's another interesting aspect of it is that the main character, Robert Pattinson, he's British, which I guess he is in real life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, well, isn't that a thing here, though? Isn't that just like part of the culture? Like that happens. So they do actually mention the whole, like, it's a thing in the United States specifically.
Right.
And like, that's why I keep having to say, like, completely understand how serious it is. And I have kids and I would be devastated if something happened to them. And I want the shooter to be prosecuted and all kinds of bad stuff. But the fact that
there's
she
also
didn't do it, I feel like.
yeah.
Should
There's
be
also
taken into account.
a difference between planning and like daydreaming and all of
Yeah.
those things, make believe, right?
Well, they make it they do emphasize that like she like it was not a passing like interest. Like this was something she was like they actually show her as a teenager like what she was doing and how she planned it. Like they make sure you know that this was not just like she just fantasized about it here and there, but no, she was actually very close to doing it. So they want to make sure you know like how serious, and so that I get that too. I mean, but I just feel like a friend who is not that person anymore tells you that. I don't get like now, right? This at this time being upset about it. Like I get like just and the fact that it's not necessarily it's well, that's why it's such a good movie because it makes you think about that. Like, how much compassion
Yeah.
should we have for the shooter themselves? Obviously, they're not a person who's had a great life or is currently going through a great time in their life or needs mental help or mental health help and stuff. It's like, but of course you don't. It's complicated, but
It is. Yeah, it is. And I
anyway.
mean, I think that like the question though is, I think I'm picking this one up, is if a friend of mine told me that this is something that they had done earlier in their life, would I still be their friend?
Yeah.
Right. And that's largely dependent on what my relationship is with them. If there's just like a passing sort of thing, probably not.
Well, that's why they made it. That's why they made it a couple who's about to get married, and for the first part of the movie, they show us their chemistry. Like they are really good together. You know, they make sure like they truly do love each other. And it starts off with him like writing his vows and telling his like going over them with his friend, and like him remembering all these fun things they did that are part of his vows and how much they love each other now, and you see like their chemistry. So they make sure you know that like the only bad thing is the fact that she said this. Like there's no other like hint to like, well, I guess they do. He does start thinking later like, wait, maybe this one time when she was mad at me and kind of like threw something at me, was that like part of some deeper anger or violent streak in her? He does kind of get into that later, but yeah.
Okay, so like for example, I mean, this kind of goes to some of the challenges I've had with like cancel culture, for example. You know, take for example, what's his name? The Guardians of the Galaxy director. He had written a joke that wasn't funny then and isn't funny now, back in the early thousands on like a personal website, and then he got like for that, like, you know, Disney fired him from Guardians 3. Then when the entire cast and crew stood up and was like, no, hey, like he should be like, that's not him, you know, we can vouch for him. The thing is that as we're growing up, we, through the course of us living, are going to make mistakes. We're going to make changes. We're going to do all sorts of things that are not palatable to us now. Does that mean that we should just under a rock and not do anything, or do, you know, like how much should we give grace to those who have made poor jokes in the past, when we are not actually like affected by the decisions that they had made 20 years ago? Really, is there a room for us to be like to be offended when no offense actually happened? You know, like does the fact that this person made an off-color joke 20 years ago mean that they're not going to be good at making a movie now?
Hey, are you talking about James Gunn?
Yeah,
that's the guy I was. Yeah. So like, what Steve, Devin was asking about the drama, and like, well, you know, if are there things that people can do when, like, in planning something absolutely horrid but not carrying it through? Is it still an unforgivable sin? You know, and that's.
Well, it's funny. Another
really
thing the movie does, which is kind of clever, is so before she reveals this, her fiance reveals his worst thing he's ever done, and he says when he was 14, he cyberbullied someone. He's very vague about it, and the response of everybody at the table is, "Oh, you were 14? Like, what's the big deal? Like, you were a kid. You didn't know what you were doing. Like, you shouldn't be blamed for that." And they're like, "Your brain doesn't even fully develop till you're 25." And then she says, "When I was 15, I did this," and everyone freaks out. I'm like, "You just said that. Right. Oh, when you're a teenager, it doesn't matter because you don't know what you're doing." And it's like, is that such a big thing that it warrants that response?
Yeah, is it because like cyberbullying is somehow not considered real?
Yeah, and I'm like, cyberbullying, again, another example of someone who actually affected another person. He doesn't get into any details, but I'm like, what he did actually hurt another person. What she did, the friend who said she locked someone in the closet for over a day, like, actually hurt another person. Whereas planning but not executing a plan didn't actually hurt somebody else.
I guess like it's the difference between what actually happened and what could have happened. Like with
but you don't punish people for crimes they didn't commit unless it's attempted, which is another
exactly
thing,
which is why I think this is a good movie, because this is making us have these kinds of conversations. And I did think that everyone's reaction in the movie to her confession did seem a bit off, but also not. Like it struck that balance of being able to see kind of everyone's point of view in a way that there was no character where you were like, oh, I can just, what they say doesn't matter because they're dumb or whatever. Everything was like, oh, okay, well, her fiance's having trouble with this. Her best friend who had someone die in a shooting. Like, obviously they would have a problem with this regardless of if anything happened or not. Like, they would still have a problem even if she had said, I was just planning on it but didn't take any other steps. I just thought about it. She would have the same kind of reaction. So, like, yeah. It was a wild movie, man.
I was also thinking, like, what if she had this situation, someone says they did commit a crime, like a serious crime, and they were prosecuted and they served their time and it's all over. Like, what if you'd actually done something and you didn't get away with it, but are you then going to be like, oh, that's okay because you actually hurt somebody but you got punished for it? Or where's the line between you did something bad or could have done something bad? I just thought it was so strange. Sorry, the kids are home, so they're yelling in the background. Anyway, so that's
what you watched.
Yeah.
Well, I disappeared quickly because the plumber showed up, and it looks like the problem isn't as bad as we thought it was. So that's good. But
okay.
I'm gonna have to go back out there and talk with him in a few minutes. But that's okay because we're at an hour here. Ben, did you want to talk about your last thing before we get on out of here?
I do.
All right,
yeah,
let's hit it with one last future or now. What is it?
Well, it's now. It's now.
No.
Several months ago, maybe a year, who knows how time even works, I came across an application it's called Minesweeper, and it's a really, really nice Minesweeper variant where you've got a lot of interesting things at play. Kind of throws Minesweeper on its head and wraps it up in like an RPG like sort of idea. I've been playing it for a long time on my phone, and it stopped working on iOS Safari. And I thought, surely there's got to be something on the App Store. Well, I found something on the App Store called Quantum Sweeper.
Oh.
Which is and it's not just on the iPhone App Store, it is also on Google Play. And it is in early access. It's currently free on both Google Play and the iOS App Store. And it bills itself as not your grandpa's Minesweeper.
Okay.
Essentially, it's similar, but not quite as challenging as Minesweeper is. The gist of it is that you have different monsters that you are coming onto a planet, and you are trying to rid it of all these monsters. Well, the monsters can have, unlike mines, which only have like one level of clearing that they have to do. Like, it's difficult to explain, but the basic gist is, if you hit a square that does not have a monster in it, you then see the HP, the hit points of the monsters that are surrounding that square, not just the number of squares that have bad stuff in it, but really like the hit points. So then you use a little bit more deduction to determine, okay, well, is this like, I currently, at the beginning of a level, can only take on level 1 monsters. But if I get enough quantumium in the level,
some unobtainium,
then,
sure.
Yeah, then I can get more. I can become stronger and can take on level 2 monsters, level 3 monsters, and there are level 2 and level 3 monsters in here. So it becomes each level becomes this sort of risk and reward, trying to figure out, okay, well, at what point do I take certain power-ups in order to be able to to successfully clear the entire map. And it's a neat little roguelike.
Right on.
But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's free. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, a variant of Minesweeper, it's worth your time. It's called Quantum Sweeper. It's by Planet Joan is the name of the developer, and I like it.
Right on, man.
I even rated it on Apple's App Store.
No.
5 stars.
5 stars. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I even mentioned that I was going to talk about it on my podcast.
Oof.
So here I've followed through on that.
Well, these roguelike versions of games have proven to be quite popular. I've got a couple more that have real energy. I'm gonna talk about these very, very quickly. Don't worry, Devin. Very quickly.
Sure.
One's called How Many Dudes, and it's a play on like how many dudes would it take to beat up a gorilla, right? But in this game, you have one dude, and the first thing he does is he fights 10 toddlers, I think, and you level up. And then you're able to put out requests for other dudes, like a samurai dude or a cyborg dude or a cowboy dude. Everything's dudes. And they all have like different things. And so then you have one, say, cowboy dude, and he's got like a special ability where he'll like lasso somebody and pull him closer and then shoot him or whatever. And then it just goes on to like with more power-ups and more dudes and then you buy equipment for your dudes. And the first time I played it for about an hour and a half straight. First time. I was like, this is amazing. This is great. It was like a couple bucks. It was like $2 or $3. Might have been on sale. So I recommend that. How Many Dudes? And then there's another one called Dogpile. And Dogpile is kind of like
So How Many Dudes is on Steam.
Steam. Yeah, this is all Steam
Right?
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
How Many Dudes on Steam, and there's Dogpile, and Dogpile reminds me of the Suika games, where like you drop fruit, right? You drop 2 strawberries and they turn into an orange, right? And you try to keep everything merging before it all stacks up to a limit, and then you lose. Well, Dogpile is a play on that, but it's different dogs that you're dropping down, and like the different dogs will merge in different ways. They have different stats and stuff that'll like have them do extra stuff. But yeah, Dogpile. I've played that for about an hour, and I was like, this is a really good game too. And again, it was like $5 or something. So fun little games where like I was specifically looking for stuff to play on my Steam Deck, and yeah, How Many Dudes, Dogpile, Ratcoin, they all did it. So those are my recommendations. Devin just disappeared. That's probably because he had work popped up before he was able to say goodbye. So that's a bummer. But goodbye, Devin. And so then we'll just say, Ben, do you have any last words for us?
Sure. Yeah. Well, okay. So this actually came up at my Sangha, the Buddhist Sangha. Somebody, they had a little joke, and they were like, why does the Buddha not vacuum under the couch?
Why?
Because he lacks attachments.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.